Imagine a world where every nation owes money, but no one really knows who owns it. The United States is in debt. The UK is in debt. Japan, China, Pakistan, almost every country you can name is drowning in debt. Trillions of dollars, mountains of numbers, red figures flashing across screens everywhere. So here's the question no one asks loudly enough. If every country owes money, then who actually owns the world's money? Is there a secret lender, a hidden power? Or is the truth far more surprising? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see money and the world in a completely different way. Let's start with a shocking fact. Global debt today is over $300 trillion. That's more than 3 times the value of everything the world produces in a year. Governments borrow, companies borrow, people borrow. It feels like the entire world is running on loans.
But debt always has two sides, someone who owes and someone who is owed. If nations owe trillions, then who is sitting on the other side collecting the money? Many people assume the answer is another country. Maybe rich countries lend to poor countries. China holds some U.S. debt. Japan holds U.S. debt. European nations lend to each other. That seems logical. But here's the twist. Even when countries lend to each other, they are also in debt themselves. Japan, one of the biggest lenders in the world, is also heavily indebted. So if lenders are borrowers, then who really owns the money?
The first real clue comes from central banks. Every major country has one. The Federal Reserve in the USA, the Bank of England in the UK, the European Central Bank in Europe, the Bank of Japan, and the People's Bank of China. These institutions don't operate like normal banks. They don't need deposits to create loans. They create money digitally. When governments need cash, they issue bonds. Central banks often buy those bonds, adding numbers to screens. No gold, no cash, just digital numbers. So are central banks the real owners of the world's money? Not exactly, because central banks themselves don't own wealth, they manage it. They control interest rates, stabilize economies, and create money. But money itself is not wealth, it's just a tool.
So if it's not countries and it's not central banks, who really profits from all this debt? The answer lies with financial institutions. Commercial banks, investment funds, pension funds, insurance companies, wealthy individuals, and massive corporations. When governments borrow money, they sell bonds. And who buys them? Mostly banks, retirement funds, big investors, and even ordinary people through pensions and savings.
Think about this. Your pension fund? It probably owns government debt. Your bank definitely owns government debt. So when a country pays interest on its debt, it's paying its own citizens and institutions. The debt isn't an abstract burden. It's money moving through the system. Here's where it gets even more interesting. In many countries, the government owes money to its own people. Taxes go in, interest payments go out. Money circulates inside the same system. If all debt disappeared overnight, banks would collapse, pension systems would break, and savings would lose value. Debt isn't a mistake in the system. Debt is the system. Now, you might ask, why can't countries just print money and erase debt? History answers that. Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and Weimar Germany tried unlimited money printing. The result? Hyperinflation, economic collapse, and worthless paper. Unlimited printing destroys trust. Money only has value because people believe in it. Governments walk a fine line. Print too little, and recession strikes. Print too much, and inflation explodes. This delicate balance keeps the financial system alive.
Next, let's talk about the giants of global finance. Private institutions like BlackRock, Vanguard, and major investment banks manage trillions of dollars. Pension funds, insurance companies, mutual funds, and wealthy investors collectively own tens of trillions in government debt.
BlackRock alone manages over $10 trillion in assets and holds a massive share of government bonds worldwide. Vanguard and other asset managers add trillions more.
But here's the critical point. These institutions don't own this money for themselves. They manage it on behalf of millions of ordinary people, retirees, workers, savers, whose pensions and investments are tied to these funds. So in a way, the money we think belongs to governments or banks is actually connected to you, me, and millions of others around the world.
Debt creates leverage. When a country depends heavily on lenders, those lenders gain influence. Policies can be shaped, budgets restricted, reforms imposed. Some call this invisible chains, not because money is evil, but because dependence reduces freedom. Yet the biggest realization is this: money itself is not a physical object owned by one group. Modern money is credit. It's trust. It exists because people believe in the system. Central banks create fiat money. Private banks expand it. Investors circulate it. Governments borrow it. Citizens carry the burden through taxes, interest, and inflation. Gold and cryptocurrency are often mentioned as alternatives. Gold is limited, tangible, independent. Crypto claims to be decentralized, but even it depends on belief, networks, and adoption. No system is completely free from trust. So, who really owns the world's money? The honest answer: no single person or institution. The global financial system is an interconnected web. Central banks create money. Governments borrow it. Private institutions hold the debt. And everyday people, through taxes, savings, and pensions, support the entire structure. You might be paying taxes to a government in debt, while your savings earn interest from the same debt. You are both a debtor and a creditor. Debt works like this: governments spend more than they earn, borrow to fill the gap, pay interest to lenders, who then reinvest the money. The cycle continues as long as economies grow. Problems appear when growth slows, inflation rises, or interest rates spike. That's when debt becomes dangerous. But under normal conditions, debt fuels economies, investments, and opportunity. Understanding this system doesn't mean fearing it. It means navigating it wisely. Knowledge becomes power. Once you understand how money really works, you stop asking who owns it and start asking how to use it intelligently.
Imagine this: the world's money isn't controlled by a secret master. It's a network, a system, and a cycle. A system you are already part of. Whether you realize it or not, every deposit, every bond, every pension payment connects you to the global flow of money. The more you understand it, the more you can benefit from it. So the real question isn't who owns the world's money. The real question is who understands it and who doesn't. Those who understand invest smarter, avoid bad debt, and use the system to their advantage. Those who don't fear money, waste opportunities, and stay trapped in invisible chains. Money is not power. Knowledge is power. And now, by understanding this, you're ahead of most people on the planet. If this video changed the way you see money, hit like. Subscribe for more videos that unravel the mysteries of finance, global debt, and how the system really works. And remember, the world doesn't run on cash. It runs on confidence, trust, and understanding.